Hi, everybody. Welcome to English Digest. I'm Stephanie.
I'm Tom.
Hey, it's Newswatch. The first one, Tom, is about technology that's going to turn bricks into batteries.
Interesting.
I know.
Yeah, we've got lots of devices that we need to keep charged all the time. And, of course, during the summer, we need to keep our air conditioners running or else we'll just be too hot to do anything. So we do need electric power, and usually we store power in batteries. Okay, nowadays, of course, we store most of our electric power in lithium batteries, I think in our phones and stuff like that. But we're talking about a new possible place to store electricity, and that is bricks. Go figure, bricks, okay? Those are those orange kind of rectangular, pieces of clay that
Concrete,
that we use to make houses and fences and stuff like that. Who would have thought that we could use bricks to store electricity? And that's our first news story for today. Later on, we're going to talk about how water might help Alzheimer's patients, but we'll give you some details on that in just a second. But first of all, let's find out about the bricks, and then we'll talk about the water. New technology turns bricks into batteries. Bricks are among our oldest building materials. Thus, the world has collected a surplus of these building blocks as old structures are torn down. Usually, they can be recycled back into new bricks. Thanks to a new innovation, they could also become batteries. Researchers at Washington University tried filling the pores of an old brick with a chemical vapor, which then interacted with the brick's red iron oxides and formed a network of plastic fibers. As they hold a small electrical charge, these fibers can power small lights. However, other researchers are attempting to improve this technology so that it can store larger amounts of electricity. If successful, the new type of battery would be cheaper and more environmentally friendly than traditional rechargeable batteries. Although one brick might not have much storage capacity, stacks of them could form part of a home's interior, turning a contemporary structure into a holding cell for solar-generated power. First, though, significant progress must be made on the development of this technology.
New treat provides water and nutrients for dementia patients. People with Alzheimer's and other forms of dementia need quite a bit of attention and care. One need that often goes neglected is hydration. Some dementia patients often don't feel thirsty and forget to drink water. Others may not recall where to get it or might not be able to swallow properly. Louis Hornby noticed this particular difficulty with his grandmother, as she was often taken to the hospital for dehydration. Hornby, a student at London's Royal College of Art, began to consider designing a treat that would be tempting for her to nibble on while keeping her hydrated. Hornby's school project resulted in jelly drops, a raindrop-shaped treat made from 95% water, with essential minerals and artificial sweetener added. He noticed that she loved them so much that she ate 7 within a 1-hour period, the equivalent of 1 cup of water. Jelly drops are now being marketed on Hornby's website and are available within the UK, with international markets currently being researched.
Okay, let's talk about the bricks first here. The first news story we have for today is entitled, New Technology Turns Bricks into Batteries. Okay, so we told you basically what this is all about. Again, for review, bricks are those orange kind of clay bricks or blocks, I guess, that we use to build houses and things like that. So we can actually turn them into batteries now. So bricks are among our oldest building building materials. Yes, they've been around for quite some time. We've used them to build all sorts of things over thousands of years. Thus, therefore, the world has collected a surplus of these building blocks as old structures are torn down. This happens all the time. The first thing I think about when I think of bricks is the old traditional Taiwanese houses or buildings that seem to be all made out of brick. And of course, developers are anxious to build new sky-rise, luxury apartments and stuff like that. So they have no qualms about tearing down those old buildings. So we get these bricks. Okay, the buildings are torn down, and then we've got all these bricks. We could send them to a landfill or dump them in the ocean or whatever they do with them. But hey, we've got these bricks. We could reuse them.
I have a kind of an interesting story. When I was growing up and my mom and dad were building a new home, I think I was 14, my mom went around the city trying to find old bricks that we could use in our new house. She loved the old red bricks that had white paint on them, and we found a schoolhouse, and that's where we got our bricks from. But I thought that was funny. She loved that look because it looked like a house that was built, back in the 1800s in Washington, D.C. area. I'm from a desert city where you don't have a lot of red brick homes, but that's what my mom wanted, red bricks. So they're pretty beautiful. Well, usually they can be recycled back into new bricks, maybe a new color, a new shape. But thanks to a new innovation, they could also become batteries, which is really weird. I don't even know how the inventor actually thought of this idea. It's so strange.
It is. Indeed. So, yeah, nowadays we have this surplus. Of course, a surplus refers to something that you have extra. You don't really need it. Of course, we'd always like to hear that our government has a budget surplus. It seems like that never happens.
No, they just waste our money.
We'd also like to have a surplus in our own personal budgets. But sometimes, we do have a surplus of things. I remember sometimes the university that I went to had a surplus sale. Okay, they had this extra stuff that they weren't using anymore, maybe old typewriters or old desks and stuff like that. You could go down there and buy these things at bargain prices. But yeah, we've got a surplus of bricks now because the buildings are torn down, and of course they probably would welcome you to come in and take them away for them. Hey, we don't have to get rid of them if you take them. So usually they can be recycled back into new bricks. Yeah, they're pretty hard and they're very durable, so you could probably use them again, or maybe break them down again and refire them in a Kindle or something and make new bricks. And thanks to a new innovation, they could also become batteries. So here we've got the word innovation, which is a noun. That just means kind of a new invention, a new idea that somebody has.
That's right. So we've got researchers at Washington University. They tried filling the pores of an old brick with a chemical vapor. Now, the pores of something are just really tiny holes or openings in the surface of something. We have pores in our skin, and in those pores, we can put, different types of creams and liquids, and it goes into our skin deeper. Those are pores. They had little holes in the bricks. If you look at bricks closely, you can see them. They decided they were going to put some sort of chemical vapor. A vapor is a gas. So some sort of chemical that turned into a gas, they were going to try to fill the pores of old bricks with this, which then would interact or react to the brick's red iron oxides. So those two chemicals, they would have a reaction because they are chemicals. That's what happens. And that would form a network of plastic fibers. This is crazy. Who ever thought of this? So it would actually form a different type of substance or material, combining this chemical vapor with the red iron oxides that are already present in bricks.
Those are chemicals, I guess. Iron and oxide or oxygen, they're kind of combined together in certain kinds of molecules. And then this chemical process formed a network of plastic fibers, okay? And as they hold a small electrical charge, these fibers can power small lights. So that's kind of the technical explanation there. You've got these fibers inside the bricks that can hold an electrical charge, and then that electrical charge charge is used to power small lights, maybe LED lights or something like that. However, other researchers are attempting to improve this technology to make it better so that it can store larger amounts of electricity. Yeah, just to power some small electric lights is fine, but we need more power for elevators in high-rise buildings and electrical lights in cities and stuff like that. So, yeah, they need more storage capacity. And in this next sentence, it says, if successful, the new type of battery would be cheaper and more environmentally friendly than traditional rechargeable batteries, which use different kinds of nasty chemicals that should be recycled, but they're difficult to be recycled. And if they're not recycled, they can cause pollution and stuff like that. So, yeah, if you talk about something being rechargeable, that means you can charge it again. The batteries in our smartphones, of course, are rechargeable.
They sure are. Now, although one brick might not have much storage capacity, stacks of them or piles of them could form part of a home's interior, turning a contemporary structure into a holding cell for solar-generated power. Kind of a long sentence. Let's look at capacity there. Capacity is the maximum amount that something can hold or can contain. Maybe you could talk about the capacity of your freezer. How much stuff or food can you put in your freezer before you can't fit anything else into it? Or maybe you're talking about how much gas your scooter or your car can hold. What's its capacity, gas tank capacity? So, yeah, they're trying to see how they can have or improve the storage capacity of these bricks. For now, they can't hold a heck of a lot. So they might need stacks of them that could form part of a home's interior inside the home. That's the interior. And it would turn a contemporary or modern structure into a holding cell for solar-generated power. When you see this word contemporary, again, it's very similar to modern. Some people say, oh, I love modern art, or I love contemporary art. Or maybe you're decorating your home and you like contemporary furniture or contemporary furnishings for your home. Just it's the same word as modern.
Yep, here in Taipei, of course, we've got the Museum of Contemporary Art, which has some interesting exhibitions. And yes, you can have this as a holding cell or a battery for power that is solar generated. First, though, significant progress must be made on the development of this technology. So here we've got the word significant, which means it has to be important enough to be worth our attention, okay? If something is not significant, then you don't really need to pay attention to it. So, yeah, we need to make a lot of progress before we're going to see bricks being used as batteries. Okay?
Yeah. It sounds like they've just started on this idea.
New idea, yeah.
Yeah, for it to really work, they have to make a lot of progress first, or significant progress.
Okay, let's move on now to the next article. But first, we're going to listen to our Chinese teacher.
听众朋友大家好，我是安娜。有人说啊，太阳底下没有新鲜事，可是不对哦。我们 Digest News Watch 常常都会告诉大家 something new。比如说像今天，你知道吗？砖块居然可以变成电池诶。我们赶快来看今天第一篇的 News Watch。不管是台湾还是全世界，都累积了很多过剩的建筑砖块。通常当然旧砖块就是回收变成新砖块，不过呢，刚好最近有一个新的发明，它们居然可以变成电池。我们在第一段的最后一句 Thanks to 这两个字要特别注意哦。Thanks to 当然你可以翻成谢谢，不过通常中文会翻成幸亏多亏了有什么什么。注意第一，To 是介系词，而第二，它的语义上其实表示的是原因，所以多亏了一个 innovation 就是一种创新的发明。好，那到底要怎么样变成电池呢？原来啊，是在华盛顿大学他们的研究人员，他们其实试着想要用化学蒸汽 chemical vapor 去填充旧砖块的细缝。然后呢，经过一些化学作用之后呢，就会有电产生哦。我们来看一下第二段的第一句 Try doing something 试着做一件事情，用 B 来把 A 填起来，这个叫做 fill something with another, fill A with B， 用 B 来把 A 填充起来。不过在这句话当中可能要注意一下，因为 chemical vapor 之后带了一个补充说明的关系子句，从逗点之后的which到句尾的地方可以把它左右括号起来。先行词当然就是这个 chemical vapor， 有一种化学蒸汽 which 它怎么样呢？和谁谁谁交互作用 interact with， 它是和砖块里面红色的铁氧化铁 red iron oxides 其实是这两者在交互作用。第二个动作除了刚才的 interacted 交互作用之外，第二个动作就是 formed 形成了什么呢？一种网络 network， 这个网络是一种塑胶的塑料纤维 plastic fibers。
We're going to take a quick break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back, guys. Let's take a look at our second headline. Headline is what we call these titles in newspaper articles or in newspapers, magazines. So what's the headline? They often will put together these words that aren't a complete sentence. So don't look at these I was going to say 标题. Don't look at these titles and think it's a complete sentence. They'll often leave out some words, just like you do in Chinese in your newspapers. So here's our headline. New treat provides water and nutrients for dementia patients. Dementia is a medical condition where people begin to forget things. So as you get older, a lot of people start getting forgetful. They can't remember where they put things, or it gets to the point where they can't remember their name or their family members. It can get progressively worse over time.
Yeah, my father-in-law suffered from dementia, and that was a long time ago, of course. But in any case, these new treats may help them out here. So let's find out what this is all about. Let's read the first paragraph. It says, people with Alzheimer's and other forms of dementia need quite a bit of attention and care. So dementia is kind of a broad term for various things that happen to us as we get older. Alzheimer's is one of them. That was specifically identified by a scientist by the name of Alzheimer, who identified this particular type of dementia. And of course, there are other forms of dementia. Yeah, they need a lot of attention and they need a lot of care. They need extra special care when they get to this point in their lives because they forget things and they might wander off. So yeah, we've got to have people there taking care of them 24/7.
Yeah, my great-grandmother, would try to cook things and then leave all the stove burners on, and it got kind of dangerous. She loved to cook, and she just kept trying to cook to make people happy, but it was getting dangerous for everybody. So one need that often goes neglected is hydration. So remember, they need quite a bit of attention and care. If something is neglected, it means someone is failing to do something important. If you neglect your house plants and you don't water them, like I sometimes forget to do, I don't water my plants, they will die. So don't neglect things. Again, failing to take care of something properly is what neglect means. Well, one thing that was often neglected in some of these patients is hydration, which just means getting enough water, getting enough liquid inside you. But in particular, water, not just liquid, not just like pop or alcohol. They need water.
Yep, hydration, of course, that's important when you exercise and stuff like that. And so you need to pay attention to that if someone is suffering from dementia. I did not know this myself. For some reason, if you suffer from dementia, you won't feel thirsty even though you really are, even though you really should have water. And then there's another problem. Others with dementia may not recall where to get it. So here, recall just means to remember. What was the name of the company you worked in 10 years ago? Oh, I don't recall. It was a long time ago. I don't remember. But here, of course, if they don't recall that they need water or they don't remember where to get it. Gee, I'm thirsty, but where should I get water? Yeah, these can be two different kinds of problems.
Or they might not be able to swallow properly, which happens to dementia patients as they get worse and worse. Parts of the functioning of their body stops working, and that's one of them, swallowing. I had a friend who couldn't even swallow before she passed away. So Lewis Hornby is the inventor of this new treat that is helping dementia patients, at least in the UK. He noticed this particular difficulty being dehydrated with his grandma. His grandmother had this problem. She was often taken to the hospital because she wasn't getting enough hydration. So the opposite of hydration would be dehydration. If someone's lost hiking in the mountains, that will often be a problem. When they rescue them, they'll be dehydrated. You need water in your body much more than you need food. You can last without food, but you cannot last without water. So Hornby, he was a student at the London's Royal College of Art. He began to consider designing a treat, something fun, something tasty. A treat doesn't have to be food. It can be a concert, or it could be going to the movies, in the middle of the week. That's a treat for yourself. He wanted to design a treat that would be tempting, or get his grandma to really be focused on that and try to get her to nibble on while keeping her hydrated. If you nibble on something, you just take little tiny bites of something, and this would help her stay hydrated or keep enough water in her body.
To nibble, take small bites and stuff like that, so then she could be hydrated. That seems to be a good idea. Well, Hornby's school project resulted in jelly drops, a raindrop-shaped treat made from 95% water with essential minerals and artificial sweetener added. Okay, so here it's called jelly drops. That's what he called this sweet, or this type of candy, and it's in the shape of a raindrop, so it's kind of round at the bottom and pointed at the top there like a raindrop, and that's why I guess he called it jelly drops.
Yeah.
And they're mostly made from water, 95% water, but they also have essential minerals inside there like iron and zinc and stuff like that, and also an artificial sweetener. A sweetener, of course, is something that makes something sweet. It mostly is sugar, but sometimes it's an artificial sweetener.
Yeah, but it would be better for people who have diabetes to have an artificial sweetener rather than sugar. So he noticed that she loved them so much that she ate 7 within 1 hour, or a 1-hour period. So that's the equivalent, or the same as 1 cup of water. Equivalent is what we use when we want to say two things are equal. So $1 is about the equivalent of 30 NT dollars. You could use that. So, wow, she was getting in 1 cup of water just by eating 7 jelly drops. Well, these jelly drops are now being marketed on Hornby's website. So you can't just go into a convenience store and buy them. And they're still only available in the UK. But they are looking to market jelly drops to international markets. So we might see them here in Taiwan one day.
It sounds like a good idea. And of course, as the population in Taiwan and Japan and other countries continues to get older, we're going to see more cases of dementia. So this is something that we all need to pay attention to. Yeah, keep your grandparents hydrated, and maybe this will help out if they don't even know they're thirsty, or for whatever other reason. Okay, that brings us to the end of our explanation for today. Before we say goodbye, we'd like to hear one more time from our Chinese teacher.
那么因为它们有少量的电荷，所以这些纤维呢就可以为小型的灯来供电。但是其他的研究人员呢还是很尝试的改进这个科技，这样子才能储存更多的电量。当然一个砖块没有办法储存太多的电，可是如果是整个家里都用这种砖块来构成房子的内部， 那么现代的建筑转变成为太阳能发电的储存单位哦。但是这种新的技术还是要慢慢的经过研究人员的研发跟改善，才会有重大的进展 significant progress。那么接下来我们就来看一下第二篇，吃糖兼补水哦。其实对于阿兹海默症啊，或者是失智患者 dementia， 他们都需要很多的照顾。那么其中有一个照顾呢，就是一定要常常的补充水分 hydration。 我们看到第一段第二句的地方有一个关系子句 One need that often goes neglected。 One need 这边指的是一项需求，那么从 that 一直到 neglected 是关系子句，又是常常被忽略的这个需求就是要补充水分。为什么这样呢？因为失智症患者有时候他不会感觉口渴，要不然就是忘记去哪里喝水，或者是没有办法吞咽，好好的 swallow。 所以有一个学生 Louis Hornby， 他就发现他的阿嬷身上有这样子的一个状况，因为他阿嬷常常因为 dehydration 脱水就被送到医院去了。所以 Hornby 呢，他就开始想要设计一种点心，希望他的阿嬷能够吃这个点心，然后又可以补充水分。我们来看一下第二段最后这一句哦。我们先从 consider 这个字开始看。 consider 是想啊考虑的意思，注意想考虑一件事情后面要加动词 ing， 所以他想要设计一种点心 a treat。 a treat 后面呢又带了一个关系子句，从 that 一直到下面句尾的地方。关系子句当中有个形容词叫做 tempting 诱人的，那么动作是 nibble on something 慢慢的吃什么什么东西。后面的 while 呢其实是一个连接词保留的分词构句哦。那么这样的情况就是让阿嬷很想要吃，慢慢的吃这个果冻，但是同时又让它可以保持水分。所以这个其实是一个学校的作业，一个 project。 那么这样的作业呢就产出了一个叫做 jelly drops 的这种点心。我们在第三段第一句的地方注意一下， treat 后面有一个 made 到逗点前面简化的关系子句。基本上这个点心呢有 95% 都是由水来制成的，附带的 with 后面 with 里面有附带着必要的矿物质，还有一些人造甜味剂。不过受到介系词 with 的影响，添加上去就只能剩下 pp 了 added。 那么之后呢 Hornby 就注意到阿嬷因为非常喜欢，所以就会吃很多。在第二句看到的 so much that 也要特别小心哦，是如此的以至于什么结果产生，而中间的 much 是一个程度，喜爱的程度。所以以上是我们2则的新闻，希望你喜欢。我是安娜，我们下次见。
That's all for today. Thanks so much for joining us, and please join us again next time for another edition of our program. So since today's lesson was our News Watch unit, I'd like to say, here's hoping that all of your news is good news, especially for the new year. From all of us here at English Digest, I'm Tom.
I'm Stephanie.
Goodbye.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.